Assalamu alaikum, how's it going? Welcome to a new episode of Fullmetal Fukumi Otaku News. So, as always, I'm starting with some quick self-PR to talk about my coffee blog where I'm posting everything I'm doing these days, be it interview translations and stream translations and stuff about Pretty Series and Heaven Burns Red and other games and anime I like. And most notably, recently I did a quick list of some of the games I like that are on sale on Steam for the Winter 2024 sale. So it's a mix of like some classics, visual novels and stuff, and some more niche Japanese games and some stuff. So if you're interested, please check it out. Thanks. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is how there's a Kickstarter, like a crowdfunding right now ongoing for a very important game project called Dreams on a Pillow, which is described as a pseudo 3D stealth adventure game and a video game experience about the 1948 Nakba based on a true story. And it's a project made by several people, and the key person of the project is Rashid Abuida, who also made Lila and the Shadows of War in 2016. And he's a developer you might have seen like this last few years because he was also you might have seen his past interviews because he was also on a People Makes Game video, PMG, right? Very popular like YouTube channel. And he was also at the GDC in 2017, I think, 2016 or 2017. He was also at GDC. And more recently, he was also on the Game Devs of Color Expo for an interview as well. So I will put the links for each of these interviews in the description below, so you'll be able to check them out. And so yeah, so the Dreams of a Pillow development team needs funding and they need money, so they need us. And for now, the goal, the crowdfunding for now, we've reached like around over half of the goal, but they still need like over one third, so they still need like over $50,000. And so the lowest crowdfunding tier is $30. So like if you've got 30 bucks and like if you're revolted about what's been happening for over a year and what's been happening for decades, and like this is a surefire way of spending your money to change things and to try and do something, right? So yeah, for now, we are a bit past the half goal point and there's still 22 days left. So the thing this is a very important thing to share and to share the project, because like like anything that deals with this subject and with fighting against white imperialism and capitalism, like it gets dense, right? Especially in an industry like as white as gaming, be it in the games development and the studios all around the world, like be it Asian studios or European studios, or like be it like anyways, like it's very homogeneously white, and like be it in games funding in general, and like when it comes to indie gaming like games jams, etc., and when it comes to games journalism and games media as well, like it's a very white industry. So like it's very important to talk about, and it's a very overall it's like a very important thing to talk about. So I hope you will share the crowdfunding, and like if you got some like at least 30 bucks, like, and if you wanna make sure to try and change things. So like this like a guarantee. Like you should like you can it's like this you can like shut up and take my money. You can go there. Like you can go that way for this project. So yeah. So I hope you will share this with your friends, and like that's everything, I guess. So yeah, it's a very important thing to talk about. So, on the weekend of December 21st and 22nd, Shueisha held the Jump Festa 2025 with a lot of announcements for upcoming anime adaptations of Shonen Jump manga. And to be honest, I don't really care about most of the manga series in Shonen Jump these days. And I wanted to specifically talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a stage event where they most notably announced a remaster version of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, the second Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, which is a sequel in a way to the Duel Monster series, to the original manga. Like it's taking place like 4 or 5 years later or something, but with a brand new cast of characters, and sometimes some returning characters come back as well. It's a really incredible series with 4 seasons and 180 episodes. So they announced that they're going to air a remastered version starting April 2025 on Terebi Tokyo. And this is very interesting because right now there's the 8th Yu-Gi-Oh series which is airing, Yu-Gi-Oh Go Rush, and it's nearing its climax, and like it's at around episode 129 right now or something. Like we're currently at episode 140, so there's probably going to be 150 episodes also, like 3 years, and then the series is going to end in April, and then they're going to air the Yugioh GX remaster. But the thing is, they didn't specify like how the re-airing will take place, because obviously they will remaster all the episodes, but like there's no way they will actually air all the episodes on TV, right? Because they are not going to air like Yu-Gi-Oh GX on TV again for like 3 years to cover the 180 episodes, right? And my guess is, for now they didn't say any more information on the airing on the time slot, etc. But like since it's on April and on TV Tokyo, it's very likely it will take over the morning slot for Yu-Gi-Oh Go Rush. Yu-Gi-Oh Go Rush is currently at 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. every Sundays, sorry, on TV Tokyo. So it's very likely it will take over this slot, but like I don't think they will air all the episodes. Maybe my guess is they will do a selection, like and air like maybe 26 episodes from all over the series, and then they will go this way like for 1 or 2 cours until the next Yu-Gi-Oh series, the ninth Yu-Gi-Oh series is actually announced and it actually starts. So they also specified on the event that they will air starting from episode 1, but they did not say how long it will be airing. And like the event was streamed live on YouTube, so they say that they will air starting episode 1, but they didn't say how long it will be airing. So yeah, my guess is they won't air all the episodes. And they also say the episode will be airing on YouTube as well. Every week the episode airs, they will upload it on YouTube as well. And this is a brand new key visual with Judai, the protagonist of Yugioh GX, and with his ace key monsters. And this is a brand new key visual. So yeah, so they announced this, and on the event, they also announced some new merch, some new Yu-Gi-Oh GX merch as well. On the like, it is like based on the 4th season. Like this is a special pop-up shop store that will be available in Japan in January with some brand new merch, and the merch will be using these brand new illustrations of the characters. These are the season 4 characters, because the theme is darkness. So you have what was his name as well? I forgot. This is a brand new character, Fujiwara. Like he's a key character that appears in season 4 of Yu-Gi-Oh GX, because season 4 of Yu-Gi-Oh GX is a very special season, because in a way Yu-Gi-Oh GX, it ends at the end of the 3rd season, and then there's a whole epilogue of 26 episodes, because each season is 50 episodes, but season 4 is shorter, it's only 26 episodes, and it's kind of like a epilogue of a series, because it ties up some loose plot ends, and most probably one of the loose plot ends is the whole darkness thing that was a very big thing in the 1st season. They never really explain it, and so the final season and goes back to this and explains this, and this is one of the reasons why it introduces Fujiwara, this brand new character. And it also focuses on Tenjoin. I think it was Hibiki. He's Asuka's older brother, right? I forget English name. I think it's Alexis, the English name of Asuka. The older brother, like in season 1, he plays a very big role, because he's like the guy with the mask of darkness, but they never explain how he got this mask, and season 4 basically like finally revealed like it's not a plot hole. They were actually like setting up for this all along, like for a few 3 years. So it's one of the reasons why season 4 is so awesome. And like it's like the one comparison I always do is like, one comparison I'll always do is like, it's very similar to Sakura Taisen 4. Sakura Taisen 4 is an epilogue to the series, because the Sakura Taisen series, it ends with 4. Like Ogami's story, it ends with 4, and Sakura Taisen 4 is a very short game, but it works as an epilogue to all of the characters. So Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Season 4 is very similar to this. So yeah, and you have also Fujii Ryo, who's the Hell Kaiser Ryo, one of the coolest characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! So he plays also a very important role in Season 4. So yeah, so these are brand new illustrations for all these 4 characters and for Yubel. So the pop-up shop will sell some merch using these brand new illustrations, and then the other thing they announced as well is brand new merch as well for Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and for Yu-Gi-Oh! 5DS. Like this is a merch, like the merch that the pop-up shop will have, right? So you have the usual stuff like badges, keychains, and like posters and like key cards, etc. Like all the acrylic stands, etc. Like the classic merch, like all pop-up shops in Japan, they always sell the same kind of merch. So you have this merch, and then they also announce it's postcards as well. It's postcards. And sadly, by the way, they didn't say who actually drew these illustrations. I'm guessing it's one of the animators from the original anime Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, but they didn't say who drew these because, yeah, sadly, obviously the original author passed away. And so yeah, let me my YouTube is lagging a little bit. Let me advance. So yeah, so they announced also brand new merch, a collab with Frenzy, which is like a restaurant thing. So with brand new merch for Yu-Gi-Oh! GX characters, but also Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's characters. So you have Kiryu, you have Kuro, you have Jack, Aki, and Yusei, and Asuka, and Manjome, and I forgot his name. Johan, incredible character in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Like this character alone is like one of the biggest reasons why you should watch all episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX one day. And Edo Phoenix, another very cool character. And so yeah, so Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, like obviously, if you ever watch Yu-Gi-Oh!, you must watch the original Japanese version with English subs. Do not watch the dubbing versions which are censored and which have like watered down stories and with a lot of plot holes and a lot of weird things. Do not watch the dubbed versions. Watch original Japanese versions with subtitles, please. And so yeah, so they announced this new merch with Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So like it's very exciting. Like, and with the announcement of the remaster, Ken, which is Seiyu of Yuki Judai, is the protagonist, shared some comments. And Ken, he started his career with this role actually, and now he's a very popular Seiyu. He's most probably very popular in Josei Muke works, like in Otome games, for example, in Kenka Banchou Otome, which is getting a re-release on Nintendo Switch now, it was a very popular PlayStation Vita visual novel for girls, for women. Like it's getting a re-release on Switch now by Spike Chunsoft. He's voicing one of the main guys in this game, for example. He voices many popular guys in Josei Muke works, and Judai was his very first role. So he shared in his comments like he's very happy that like the all of the efforts from the staff and the cast at the time will be able to be seen again by people who didn't see the original or remember the original. He also said his catchphrase, which is "gotcha." She's what Judai always say, "gotcha." So yeah, so I'm very excited like to see how much they remastered and to see, because yeah, I don't think they will air all the episodes. So I'm guessing they will do a selection. So I hope they will pick the best episodes in the series. Obviously, also for example the Hell Kaiser Ryo when he becomes Hell Kaiser for the first time with Kimina Tech over Dragon, etc. This kind of stuff. Obviously, they will definitely show this episode, so I'm really looking forward to it. And so yeah, that's it for Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, I guess. Oh yeah, and the last thing is at Gem Festa, Tsudaken also was there. He also went there like incognito to check out the stuff, and he was at the giant acrylic stand for Blue Eyes White Dragon. He strike a pose there. Obviously, Tsudaken is the voice of Seto Kaiba in Yu-Gi-Oh! It was his breakthrough role and how he got incredibly popular. And nowadays, he is in many series. Like younger anime fans know him for voicing, for example, I forgot his name. I think Kagari or something in Jujutsu Kaisen, the yellow-haired guy who teaches Kokusen to the protagonist, the guy with the glasses in Jujutsu Kaisen, and he's like Uta's stepdad in One Piece Film Red, Uta's producer and stepdad in One Piece Film Red, etc. He's in very like every year you can find him in many popular series and many popular games. He was Marlene's biological father in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth earlier this year as well. I forgot his name. I think it's called like Van or something. I forgot his name. But like Barrett's old friend, like in Final Fantasy VII, in the remake he was voicing him as well. So yeah, he's always everywhere. Every year he's voicing many characters. So yeah, Tsudaken voicing like striking a really cool pose. So keeping up with Yu-Gi-Oh! Still on the same event at Jump Festa, they also announced another Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime project. This time this is going to be a short anime project which will only be released on YouTube, and they will release it on the YouTube Yu-Gi-Oh! Official channel starting April, and every month they will reveal a new short anime, and it's called Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Games The Chronicles. And basically this is like based, like for now they confirmed that they are making two of them, and the first one is going to be on Sentoki, what was her name? Sentoki Rei, and the second one is going to be focused on the story of rights cards. And so Sentoki Rei, Sky Striker Ace, I don't really know her. I just know that apparently she's a quite popular Yu-Gi-Oh card nowadays, but because I never watched any of the series after 5Ds, and I didn't really catch up in Yu-Gi-Oh for like 15 years, I don't really know this card, besides that it's very popular. So the first short anime will focus on her, and then the second anime will focus on story of rights. So they reveal a trailer, so let's watch the trailer, and I wanted to quickly comment it, and how like it's very similar. Overall, it's a very similar project to what, for example, Fate Grand Order FGO is doing with its ads and with its short anime. Like every 3 or 4 months, FGO publishes a commercial, TV commercial, and which is very focused on action and focusing the featuring the characters. So this is a very similar thing overall. And this also reminds me of like all the short anime projects often done by like gacha games in general, by soshage in general. And for example, like a lot of popular Korean and Chinese soshage like Genshin, etc., they regularly do this kind of short anime projects with either for teasers or for commercials, etc. So it's very similar. Like there's a very similar vibe when it comes to this stuff. And personally, I don't really care that much about these kind of projects. It's not that I hate them, but like it's kind of hard to explain. Like I'm interested in the stories, and so I'm not that much of a Sakugabuta. Like I always say, I'm not really a Sakubuta. So even if something is really well animated, I don't really care that much about it, because I care about the story and the characters the most. So yeah, and it's directly produced by Konami. That's also another very interesting thing, is that Konami has its own studio, Konami Animation, making it. And so yeah, like, so it's very similar to like when it comes to the action and even the animation style, like, because I'm not an animation specialist, I'm not a Sakubura, but like the way it uses like close-ups and the way it uses like impact frames, etc. It's the kind of stuff like every single anime project related to gacha games, they all do this kind of same style of action-based animation, like very impressive. Like it's very, like it's purely focusing on impressing people. And personally, I don't really like that kind of stuff that much. Like, so yeah. But anyways, like this is like I'm definitely going to try and watch this when it releases in April, inshallah. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. Like I might say that I'm not excited, but like I'm pretty excited at the same time. And another thing, they didn't specify if this is going to be like new stories or like just adapting what we already know from the cards stories. But either way, this also reminds me of what I was talking about earlier, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, because in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX in Season 3, they actually go into various alternate dimensions, which are the worlds where the card monsters live in. So this is very rare to see a Yu-Gi-Oh series directly based on the worlds the cards are set in, and not in the real Yu-Gi-Oh world under brackets, if you know what I mean. So that's also a very like interesting thing. So another thing I really wanted to talk about is how Spike Chunsoft a little bit ago, they announced Kenka Banchou Otome, which is a game that released on PS Vita on 2016. It will get a Switch release, and the Switch port will release on January 16 in Japan. And it's called Double Pack, but it's kind of a little bit of a misleading. It's kind of a little bit of a misleading title, because what is called Double Pack, it's only the first game, and its fan disc called Kenka Banchou Otome Kanzen Muketsu no Mihoni. And so it's not actually the first and the second game. It's the first game and its fan disc. But for some reason they call it Double Pack, like if it's two full games. So it's kind of a misleading title, and it's maybe, I guess they will port the second game separately on Switch later. But yeah, it's kind of a greedy move by Spike Chunsoft and from their owner Kadokawa. And so yeah, and sadly there's no English release yet announced, but hopefully they will announce the game in English as well. And so if you're watching this video, you probably already know this, but anyway, the Nintendo Switch in Japan, it kind of replaced the PS Vita when it comes to ADV games, what we call visual novels in English, and this also includes Josei Muke games, which are games primarily made for a female audience. And there's a ton of Josei Muke games that got released on Vita, like in the 2010s, and all of these games that got ported on Switch later on. But as far as I know, like over the years, tons of PS Vita Josei Muke games got ported on Switch. But as far as I know, Kenka Banchou Otome was one of the last games that was still stuck on Vita. And over the years, I heard a lot of great things about the game, and especially regarding 2 as well. And so I really hope it will get localized, and I really wanna play it, because I heard 2 is incredibly good. It was released on PS Vita in 2019, and it was like one of the final PS Vita games together with Gnosia, which is another big skibidi absolute banger cinema, like cool kids say these days. So I gotta play Gnosia at some point as well. And so yeah, and Kenka Banchou Otome, one of the reasons why I always wanted to play it is because all the characters, they're all voiced by seiyuu who are also voicing characters in Prettyrism, which is my favorite anime of the last decade, Prettyrism and its sequel, King of Prism. So you have Ken, which I was talking about earlier. Ken, who is voicing the protagonist of Yugioh GX, is voicing one of the dudes in Kenka Banchou Otome. And Ken, he was Hibiki in Prettyrism, in the first series of Prettyrism Aurora Dream, and Prettyrism Dear My Future. And then you also have Kakihara Tetsuya, and Kakihara Tetsuya is voicing one of the characters in Kenka Banchou Otome as well, and he's voicing Koji in King of Prism and Prettyrism. And then you have Maino Tomoaki, who is voicing another character in Kenka Banchou Otome, and he's also in Prettyrism. He was voicing Hiro in Prettyrism and in King of Prism. And then you have Hatanaka Tasuku, who is also in Kenka Banchou Otome. He was also in Prettyrism, and he was voicing Taiga. He's voicing Taiga in King of Prism, one of my favorite characters. Like among the new characters in King of Prism, is one of my favorites. And you also have Kondo Takashi, and Kondo Takashi was also voicing Sho in Prettyrism, Aurora Dream, and Dear My Future, and he's also a very important side character in Rainbow Live, the third series. So like you also have Shota Aoi, who is also in Kenka Banchou Otome, is also voicing Louis in King of Prism, another brand new character appearing in King of Prism. So nearly every single, like all the most important seiyuu in Prettyrism, they also voice a character in Kenka Banchou Otome. And it's not really a coincidence, because obviously they're all very popular male seiyuu, and all the popular male seiyuu, they're always in Josei Muke stuff. So it's not like, it's very funny, but it's at the same time there's many other instances of this happening, so it's not really such a coincidence. And yeah, so Kenka Banchou Otome, I've heard a lot of good things about it over the years, and all the characters are voiced by seiyuu I really like, so I really gotta play it one day. So I'm gonna try and play the Switch version at some point, and hopefully it will get localized in English so more people can enjoy the game and play it. So next step on December 21st, it has been announced that Ryukishi07, the author of Higurashi, Umineko, Rose Guns Days, Kikonia, etc., Umineko no Nakukoro ni toka, so like this kind of games, visual novels, etc., is working on a brand new manga which will start being released on January 21st, 31st on Yanchan, which is like a site of web manga. And for now, the only thing they reveal is this key visual with someone who looks like a salaryman and someone who looks like an OL, but she's wearing a bunny suit for some reason, and it looks like they're working at the same company because they have the same kind of nameplates. So we don't know much. We don't know anything else for now. But I wanted to talk about Ryukishi as a whole because I haven't talked about him in a long while. So, and by the way, they also announced that the manga is this new manga project is drawn by what was his name, Sugi Koichi, and I never heard about this mangaka before, so I had to look it up. And he actually did one of the spin-offs of Hataraku Saibo Illegal, and he also did a baseball manga called Yakyugami, but I never really heard about this mangaka before. But like looking at the key visual, it looks pretty cool, so like I'm looking forward to what this will be. Like Ryukishi these days is working on a lot of things, and obviously his biggest project is the next Silent Hill F, and they still haven't announced a release date or anything about the game, and Konami, ever since they announced the game in 2022, they haven't said anything else since then. As far as I know, they haven't revealed any more new information since then, so we don't even know if it's actually going to release in 2025 or not. So Yukishi is working on this, and this is his biggest project because like Konami must have paid him a lot, and this is like his biggest project basically. And I'm really happy for him that he's finally like obviously like in Japan and like in when it comes to anime fans, etc., especially thanks to the Higurashi anime adaptation in the mid-2000s, he's always been a very popular author, right? But one thing I've always said is compared to like his contemporaries and his contemporaries like Nasu, like Meteo, like what was his name? The guy who's doing Jinryu Jintai. I forgot his name, but like these guys like Meteo, etc., Nasu, etc., compared to the other popular like Urobuchi, etc., compared to the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s authors like Beboge and visual novels authors who all like made it big, and in a way they all become mainstream, right? Nasu FGO is mainstream now. Urobuchi, Madomaji is mainstream right now, etc. And but in a way, like Ryukishi, even if Higurashi was extremely popular, Umineko was much less popular in Japan, and like it's still a very popular niche worldwide, but in Japan it wasn't that popular, and Rose Gun Days wasn't popular in Japan either. So like I'm really happy that he finally got like his recognition in a way, like he's finally got like he's one of the like in the same level as etc. And so I really hope Silent Hill F will work pretty well. And so he's working on this, and he's also working on Loopers Plus, which is an enhanced and upgraded version of Loopers coming in 2025 with some brand new scenarios written by Ryukishi. So he's working on this as well. And he's also, this is with Key, right? With Key, which is now owned by Tencent. And he's also working on with Entergram on Gensou Goku no Kaireido Scope 2, Gerokasu 2, which was an extremely surprising announcement because like I don't think one sold that much, so like I'm really surprised that they're actually making a sequel, and I still haven't played one yet. I really gotta play one because it has Akaneya Himika voicing one of the the characters. Akane Himika, who is voicing Lala in Puripara, which is part of Pretty series, and Pretty Rhythm is part of the same series. And it's my favorite anime of the last decade, like I always say. So this is one of the main reasons why I wanna play Gerokasu 1, because Akane Himika is in there. So he's working on Gerokasu 2, and then in October, he also announced a stage play. He also did a stage play, which is called あなたたちは閉じまれています。あなたたちは閉じまれています. which is like あなたが閉じ込められました. which is like you are trapped, you've been locked up. And I didn't really read about it, so I don't really know what it's about, but apparently from what I read, it was an interactive stage play with the audience. So it was only ran in October, like many stage plays, like it's very unlikely we will ever see it outside Japan. So he was working on this as well. And by the way, there's a Umiste as well, Umideko. The Umineko stage play, but as far as I know, is not working directly on Umiste, and Umiste is getting episode 5 adaptation soon. So there's this as well, and then there's Kikonia, which is still on episode 1, and so I guess once all the other projects are over, it will probably do Kikonia Phase 2, but personally I'm not in a hurry because I still haven't even played Phase 1 anyway, so I'm not in a hurry. So yeah, like I'm pretty excited for this manga. I'm looking forward to what it will be about. And now for some short news regarding a series I really like, Kodomo no Omocha. So Obana Miho, the author of Kodomo no Omocha, has announced like in January in Japan there's going to be a love shop, a pop-up shop in Ikebukuro with Kodomo no Omocha merch. True, sadly, it's not kakioroshi, meaning it's not new illustrations used for the merch. It's using the manga covers and older illustrations from the manga promotional material, etc. And they're going to sell merch there at Ikebukuro all January. And for example, if you look at the manga covers, you can see that it's some of the illustrations back from the manga covers that they're using for the merch. So sadly, it's not brand new illustrations, and they're using actual pages and actual moments and scenes from the manga as well. And Kodomo no Mocha is one of my favorite series. Like I watched like this in the early 2000s, and it's an extremely good series. So if you never heard about it, you should watch it. Definitely, it's 100 episodes, and I actually never read the manga, so I gotta read the manga one day. And it was aired like in 1998, I think, 1996. Yeah, 1996 to 1998, and I watched it in early 2000s, and it's an incredible, really, really cool series. To be honest, the last 20 episodes or so, I never watched them. I gotta watch them as well. I watched like the 2 last episodes, but I never watched the 20 or so episodes before that. And so yeah, I gotta watch them. I gotta read the manga. So yeah, sadly, while Obana Miho sensei, she didn't do new illustrations for this merch, she's on Twitter actually, and she does publish stuff on Twitter, and most notably a few weeks ago in early December, she met up with Nakagawa Shoko, who is a very popular Taranto, Otaku Taranto, and a singer. In outside Japan, she's most notably known for singing the opening of Guren Lagann, Tengen Toppa Guren Lagann. Sorairo Days, right? She's the singer of that. So Obana Miho sensei, she met up with Nakagawa Shoko, and she drew Shokotan, and she drew her with her father, what was his name? Nakagawa Katsuhiko. And I didn't know this, but her father was actually a very popular singer and actor in Japan. And sadly, he passed away when Shokotan was 9 years old in 1994. So I didn't know this, and she drew them together. So it's a really, really good illustration. And she actually drew this like by hands, on like without using like tablets and stuff. And then still back in April, this is something I've seen since April, and I wanted to talk about it. So Obana Miho, she also made up with her friends Fujii Mihona sensei and Yoshizumi Wataru sensei. And Fujii Mihona sensei, she's the mangaka of Gao's Gyaru, which is like a 90s manga, like a late 90s manga. It's a very popular manga about fashion and Gyaru, and like this is one of the first manga about Gyaru I've heard about, but I've never read it. I gotta read it. And in the early 2000s, I've read Peach Girl, which is like a contemporary, so I gotta read this. And Yoshimizu Wataru, meanwhile, she's the mangaka of Marmalade Boy. And I remember when I was a kid, I used to think that Marmalade Boy and Kodomo no Mocha were made by the same person. And I didn't know it's actually because they're friends and because they are both Ribbon mangaka. And a lot of mangaka in Ribbon, they have very similar art styles. So that's why Kodomo no Mocha and Marmalade Boy kind of look similar. And so they're actually friends with each other. And back in April, all three of them met and they all drew their own characters together. So you have Sanata Kurata-sana from Kodomo no Mocha, you have Ran from Gyaru, and you have Miki from Marmalade Boy. So it's a really, really cute illustration. And they actually drew this by hand as well while chatting and stuff. So I wanted to quickly talk about this. So yeah, if you never watched Kodomo no Mocha, you should really check it out in my opinion. And I gotta read the manga one day, and I gotta read Marmalade Boy as well. Oh yeah, and one thing I forgot to say is Oda Shizue-san, who was the seiyuu of Kurata-sana in Kodomo no Mocha, she actually never did another anime roles because she's actually not a seiyuu. She wasn't a seiyuu, she was like a radio host and a narrator. And obviously a lot of seiyuu also do narration work, but like she's a narrator first and then a seiyuu later. So she never did actual other anime roles. So she's actually on Twitter as well. So if you wanna say her thanks for voicing Sarah and stuff, and if you wanna check what she's doing nowadays, just check out her Twitter account. And obviously Obana Miho sensei and Fujii Mihona, they're also buff on Twitter as well. So if you wanna say them thanks for making Gyaru and for making Kodomo no Mocha, you should send them some message as well. It's always good, like because you never know, like when you should take the chance you have when you have this chance to tell them how much the series have such meaning for you and how the series were a huge influence on you. So you should tell them that. I'm sure they will be very happy to hear that from people all around the world, right? So, another news, Marvelous has been revealing sporadically some new informations on Ryu no Kuni Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, which is scheduled to release in spring 2025. So over on Twitter, they've been revealing some setting information, some story information, or some lore like cool kids say these days. And basically, they've been explaining that Azuma, the country of Azuma, is in the east, and it's somewhere completely different from the past Rune Factory games, which apparently like all the Rune Factory games, they are standalones, right? But they are all interconnected with some returning characters. And apparently, all the Rune Factory games, they were all taking place on the Adonia, the continent of Adonia, they called it, I think. Where was it written? Adonia Tairiku. Apparently somewhere like on the west, it's called Adonia Tairiku, and it's where like most of the Rune Factory games, they are all taking place around that place. But Ryu no Kuni, is, Guardians of Azuma, is taking place in the east in a brand new country called Azuma. And so they've been revealing some artwork and some screenshots of this. And most notably, they said, for example, that a lot of people, they do travel between the countries and between the continents of the first Rune Factory games and between Azuma no Kuni. And a lot of people use ships and some people use airships as well. And one interesting thing is they say some people also use magic to travel. Some people also use magic to travel. So this like maybe hints that maybe magic will play a big role in this game or something. And another thing they mentioned is how like it's a completely different culture, which is like Japanese inspired. So the food and like the stuff that we'll see in the game will be different than in past Rune Factory games, basically. So yeah, like I'm very excited for this, and I'm very looking forward to what the game will be about because like I'm a huge Rune Factory fan. It's one of my favorite series. And by the way, Marvelous is owns 20% of the shares is owned by Tencent, and Tencent is the major largest shareholder of Marvelous. So I assume they have more money nowadays for their projects and stuff. So it's also one of the reasons why I'm hoping Ryu no Kuni will be like a very ambitious game, and because it's also the spiritual successor to Rune Factory Oceans, right? Because Rune Factory, you have the numbered games up until 5, but you also had Rune Factory Frontier and Rune Factory Oceans, which were like full 3D games, and Rune Factory Oceans especially was a very ambitious game. So in a way, Ryu no Kuni is like its spiritual successor, so I'm really hoping it will be really, really good. And another thing I wanted to talk about regarding Rune Factory is how they are doing nowadays over on Twitter on the official site. They are doing Yonkoma manga, 4 panels manga, to promote the series. It's this manga. It's for the older fans because it's the characters from the first game. Like this is the Rosetta from the first game. So this is for people like me who really like the series, and it's full of fan service and it's really funny. And I wanted to talk about this because it's funny that a lot of older series, because Rune Factory started in the mid 2000s, older series, they're all doing this kind of Yonkoma manga to promote themselves now. Just like Gundam Seed, back when in early 2024, back when the Gundam Seed Freedom movie was getting released, over on Twitter, the Gundam Seed official Twitter, they did some Yonkoma manga as well. And it's very funny because I always get a feeling like it's like a boomer getting "How do you do for little kids?" like as a meme, like with the boomer, because Yonkoma promotional manga, it's only started to get popular in the mid 2010s with the era of gachage, soshage, and gacha games, because gacha games and soshage, they all do this kind of stuff, right, to promote themselves. And when you play the game as well, during the loadings, like in Uma Musume, in Purikone, all the side games, they do this, like Gakuen Idolmaster as well does this. During their loadings, they always publish like short Yonkoma manga. And over on Twitter as well, Heaven Benzwed does this, etc. Everyone does this nowadays. So it's very funny. It's very funny for me to see older series do this as well to try and promote themselves. So yeah, so if you like Rune Factory and if you can understand Japanese a little, you should read this. It's very, very funny, very interesting. And the last thing I want to talk about is how the Mineral Town remake, I haven't played it yet, but there's a new best price version that's just released in Japan. And for the occasion, the character designer of the game published his brand new illustration with the female and male protagonists. Very, very cute. So just wanted to show this. So another very quick news is how it's been over a year since the Star Ocean, the second story remake was released, and for the occasion, the official Star Ocean Twitter published back in November for the anniversary these new illustrations of Claude and Rena. And I just wanted to say that I haven't played the remake yet, but from what I've heard from online friends and from what I've seen on streams, it seems incredible. The developer is Gemdrops, and they've done an incredible job with this remake. So I really, really hope that Tri-Ace and Square Enix are still working with Gemdrops to do some kind of Valkyrie Profile remake of the first game, because they will do an incredible job with that. And yeah, so because Terracian and Valkyrie Profile, there's two linked series, and sadly, this past few years they've been like a lot of developments for Valkyrie for Star Ocean, with some remakes on a brand new game, but sadly it sucked. But it was better than 5, but 6 is still very mediocre, but at least it was better than 5. Star Ocean 6, yeah. But meanwhile, like Valkyrie, we only got the spin-off Valkyrie Elysium, which was okay from what I've heard. It's not a bad game, but like it's not, but it's a spin-off, right? And a lot of people want a real remake of Valkyrie Profile 1, or not even a full remake, but reusing the same beautiful artwork, but with some 3D models and some 3D environments, just like Gemdrops did for Star Ocean 2 remake. So hopefully this will happen one day, right? So yeah, I just wanted to say this. So another very quick news, because I know some of my online friends who are also fans of Radioism are listening to this. So Enoki Azusa, the CEO of Miho in Periodism, has announced a birthday live for 2025, and the tickets are on sale until December 30. So if you're in Japan and if you can go, you should definitely get a ticket, because she announced that there's going to be some real crazy guests, because she's getting Hishida Masakazu, director of the series of Futurism, and Mars will be there together, because Kana Asumi, Aira Seiyu will be there as for a talk event, and Hara Sayuri, Irizumu Seiyu as well. And together with director Hishida, they will do a talk event together. And together with that, there's also going to be a concert, a live concert part with Shishido Rumi, who is June in Futurism Rainbow Life, and with Akesaka Satomi, who is Canon, Todo Canon, and Jaeyun in Futurism Aurora Dream and Futurism Dear My Future. So, my fellow Futurism fans, like, if you're in Japan, you should definitely try to get to this event, because it's going to be awesome. So it's going to be held on March 16th to celebrate Enoki Azusa's birthday. The tickets are still on sale until December 30, so definitely get a ticket if you can. And so the final thing I wanted to talk about today is how Heaven Burns Red on the latest Japanese news stream on December 22, they actually revealed that the game is going to do a third Angel Beats collab. This isn't that surprising, because everyone expected at least a third one to happen, but the surprising thing is the timing, because until now, the past two Angel Beats collabs, they happened at the anniversary of the game. So in March, April in 2023 and 2024. So there's a third one coming, but it's happening this week, starting December 26th. And this is very surprising, because if they're doing the Angel Beats collab now, this means they are going to do something else for the anniversary of Heaven Burns Red, for the third anniversary of the game in March. So there's a lot of speculation among the fans now. A lot of people are thinking maybe Ki and Maeda Jun-san, they're actually doing a new original anime, because if you think about it, all of the Ki original anime, they've all been aired within 5 years of each other, because in 2010 you had Angel Beats, and then 5 years later in 2015 you had Charlotte, and then in 2020 you have Kami-sama ni Nattahi. So every 5 years, Ki aired a brand new original anime. So maybe in 2025, Key Visual Arts and Tencent are going to air a brand new original anime, and maybe this is the anime that will get a collab this time with Heaven Burns Red in March for the third anniversary of the game. Who knows? And so yeah, so now they're going to do another, for now, starting this week, they're going to do another collab with Angel Beats, and this time the story will focus on Shiori, because basically the first two collabs, they all focus on Girls Dead Monsters. So Garumon, Girls Dead Monster. So the first one was on the first collab was on Irie-san. It was telling her story, because back in the game, back in the anime and the first bit, we didn't get her story. So the first collab in 2023, it was about Irie-san. And then the second collab, it was about Hisako-san. So the second collab was about her, and now the third collab is going to be about Sekine-san, Shiori. So the third collab will focus on her, but this time they are still going to add Yui and Iwasawa-san. So Yui and Iwasawa-san will also become playable characters, but however, there will be units only, like in Super Robot Tyson, Super Robot Wars. Sometimes they add a series, but they only add the mecha and the units from the series, but they don't actually do the story from the series. And this Angel Beats collab will be the same thing. The story will focus on Sekine, and Yui and Iwasawa, they don't appear in the story, but however, they will get some SS units that you will be able to pull for. And Masotabi, there are going to be 83 pulls, so you'll be able to get them if you're lucky without paying. And the English version of Heaven Burns Red, they will probably do this collab in 2 years or so. So you have to be very patient, because they will have to do the first two collabs first, right? So the first two collabs, it was playable characters for playable versions for Kanade and Yurippe. Yurippe and Kanade become playable, and together with Irie-san. And then in the second collab, they release new version of Yurippe and Kanade, and together with Hisako-san. And now in this third collab, instead of getting new versions again of Yurippe and Kanade, they will release Iwasawa and Yui as playable characters, and together with Shiori as a playable character. And they will be in different banners, but for the first time in Heaven Burns Red, in the Japanese version they released, the banners will share their PD, so at least you will be able to easily get the one you want if you saved for some gems. But anyway, regarding the details of the collab, I will do an article about it on my blog, because on my blog I do summaries of all the Heaven Burns Red streams. And the next stream on December 26th will the next stream on December 26th will reveal the actual gameplay details and some gameplay for Yui and Iwasawa-san, because for now they only showed this story trailer for that reveals them, but they didn't actually show gameplay and they didn't actually explain their skills and stuff yet. So we only know that Yui is a buffer and Iwasawa-san is an attacker. And they showed a little bit of cutscenes from the events, right? And we'll know more on December 26th. So you should check out my blog for a summary of the stream with all the details, because it's kind of hard to explain everything if you're not familiar with the game. In an article, it's much easier. So yeah, starting December 27th in the Japanese version, in the Asia version of the game. And that was a big surprise, because yeah, everyone is wondering now, what are they actually going to do for the anniversary if they're already doing this now? So yeah, and with Iwasawa-san and with Yui, all the Girls Dead Monster members will actually be playable in Heaven Burns Red together with Kanade and Yurippe. So yeah, Iwasawa-san will be playable, but like it says, story he no how do we read this? I forgot, but it means they don't appear in the story. Story no toujou wa arimasen. They don't appear in the story. So Yui and Iwasawa-san will become playable, but they're not in the story. So you should remember this. And yeah, more details on their skills and stuff will be on December 26th. So that's all for this episode of Fullmetal Fukimi Otaku News. Remember to like and subscribe, it's free and it helps me out with my videos. Thanks for watching, bye. 言っててくれてありがとうな。それでは、バイバイ、じゃあな。